Hi there. Today I'm going to speak a little bit around the appropriate footwear that you should select when doing a high impact sport such as running. Appropriate footwear is specific to the runner style, both the way that you and your body react to running and the venue that you choose to run on. There is street running, there's track running, dirt road or trail running, and each one of those do have a different type of shoe involved with them. Now, certainly there are many aspects that you want to be aware of and do research on when considering the right type of running shoe for you. Today I'm going to talk about support. Let's talk a little bit about the runner style. And what I mean by this is everyone needs to understand what your foot does when it runs. It's more than just hitting the pavement and moving on to the next foot and getting in that cadence. Really, you want to understand, where does your foot first strike the ground, and then how does it transition from that heel strike to where you're lifting your toes off and propelling yourself down forward into your run. What happens in that transition and the way that your foot reacts from heel strike to toe off, which is the way to describe that transition, if you will, the way that the body takes and propels you forward, really depends on how much support that you need. So I want to look a little bit at my running style. And really, if you think about the way that, if as I adjust my camera here, if you think about the way that I run, I'll just kind of explain this to you as I look at my shoe. Basically, I hit from the back outside corner of my heel. And so what happens is when I hit the pavement like this, then my foot has a tendency to roll to the inside and come in. Now that's a little bit more dramatic than it really does in real life. But my foot has a tendency to strike on the outside and then roll as it goes transition to the toe. Now the effects of this without the proper type of shoe can be extremely challenging for the body to take on, because what happens is, if I do not have the right amount of support on the inside, I am impacting everything. So it's more than just my foot going to the inside when it transfers in. I am impacting my knee joint, because if my foot rolls, it's going to impact upstream and hit my knees. Then I'm going to impact my hip joints and everything else. And so it's extremely important that I provide myself the right type of support that's needed to prevent my foot from rolling too far to the inside. Now I struggle with something known, maybe some of you have this, but flat feet. I have no arches, and so I'm very prone to that inside roll on the foot, and I have to have a very high support shoe in order to support my running style. So I want to look at the subtle differences between two pairs of shoes, because my running shoes are completely separate than, say, the shoes that I mow the yard in or do yard work in, as I don't require that support in situations like those. While it would be nice, I'm not going to spend the kind of money for a pair of yard shoes, if you get my drift. So it's pretty substantial. So let's look first at the same shoe in just my basic tennis shoe. This is the inside of my shoe, and you can see there on the bottom that you do not have, as maybe an inch or so of where my heel onto the middle part of my foot lands, and just your basic support. Now if you transition this to my running shoe that I just showed you, you see there is a significant amount of support on the inside. This is the inside of my shoe, and back here is my heel, and you can see that the support runs all the way up past the arch, which will provide me the ability to basically not allow my foot to roll to the inside as I am running, and then allow me to continue the transition off. The result is very good support on the inside of my shoe, and the transition allows my foot to stay flat as it transitions off. Again, as you think about that inside, it just stays completely flat as it goes, because of the support that I have on the inside. The question is, how in the world do you know how much support you need? You could have great arches, great support, and just require a really light running shoe that provides you other benefits other than support. Or you could be like me and have the need for very high support. My best advice to you would be to go to a local store in your community. What they will do is they will put you on a treadmill and they will videotape your feet and lower body, from the knee down basically, as you do a light jog on a treadmill. Once you get the opportunity to view this back in a very, very slow speed, it reveals specific foot motion. I will tell you that if I played my own videos back, or if I looked at my running without having the ability to slow it down in micro speed, I would not see the inside lean or the roll that I was prone to, and hence the reason for my knee support, or my knee pain several years ago as I was running. So it's very important that you get fitted for the right shoe, that you get your running style evaluated, and that you do that with a professional. I don't know, many stores or many local communities have those types of running stores where you can get that done. There's one more thing on the topic of shoes, and really that's the importance of not overusing your shoes. Shoes are good, running shoes are good for between 350 to 400 miles. I'll tell you that these, they have around 450 miles on them right now. I've ran probably 3 weeks further than I should, but that's because we're in a very competitive season right now, and I'm running a lot of competitive races. And it's important to me anyway that I do not break in a new pair of shoes into a race. I'd rather have those available to me. So I actually have one more race left in these. I'll be retiring them and putting them on the shelf and calling them good forever. So I hope that this has been informative for you. I would just encourage you to find the shoe that fits you, find what's right for you, and make sure that you have the support that you need when you're out there. It's not only important to your feet, but it's important to joints like your knees, your hips. It's important to your back. It impacts your entire body. I can tell you from experience, it makes a huge difference in your running, and it makes a huge difference in the effects and impacts that you have after your run. On a personal note, it's been great sharing a little bit of my inside life with you guys for the last 8 weeks. I hope to see you down the road in some future classes perhaps, but if not, thank you for everything and have a great college career.